Hey, my spoonshines. Before we get into today's episode, I want to say thank you for rocking with me through season 2. Every listen, every message, every share, y'all have no idea how much it just fills my spoons. Now, a quick heads up, season 3 is coming, and we're stepping it up a little bit. This is not just audio anymore, it's going to be video too. Bigger vibes, deeper convos, and more spoon space magic. And on one more quick note, I know that some of you noticed the mid rolls getting a little wonky this season, cutting me off in the middle of my sentences, and I just want to say thank you for that feedback as well. I hear you, I appreciate you, and I promise that it will not be an issue next season. All right, let's get into this episode. We're going to call this the Chaos Club. And child, a mess. When you hear chaotic energy, I want you to know that it isn't just somebody being dramatic. It's the kind of energy that hijacks the room. The person who takes a small problem and makes it into an entire full storm, or the one who just runs in circles instead of landing on the simple solution that's right in front of them. When you're already living and dealing with a chronic illness, that kind of energy doesn't just irritate you, it can also drain you. It stills spoons that you didn't have to give. And let me tell you a story, y'all. Thinking back on it now, it is honestly so ridiculous, but it taught me what it needed to teach me. When I was travel nursing, I was working with a group of nurses and stress was already high. The stakes were already high, but one particular nurse's energy in general, Jesus, stressed me out so bad, and I could not figure out why. But she was very needy, very attention seeking, and extremely chaotic. So much so that when she walked into the room, the air was literally sucked out of it. And it wasn't just annoying, I honestly felt it in my body. My shoulders would get heavy, my chest sank, and my spoons slipped away just from being in that energy. It even changed how I moved a little bit. Sometimes I avoided hanging out with the other nurses that I knew that I liked because I also knew that that person would be there. And when one person's chaos can shift the whole presence, you know that that's dangerous. It's not just noise, it's a thief. Chaotic energy can be so sneaky, and you have to learn how to protect yourself from it. You'll find yourself exhausted, burnt out, and wondering why you feel so heavy when you haven't even done anything. And that's why we're here today. Because spoon management is not just about rest, meds, and boundaries. It is also about guarding your spirit. And you want to know what's wild about chaotic energy? You don't always spot that shit right away. For me, my spirit always clocks it before my brain catches up. Sometimes my stomach gets tight and queasy, or like I just feel disgust, or other times it's mental, like there's confusion going on here and there should not be confusion going on here. If something feels way harder than it should, that's honestly my first clue that something in the energy is off. And chaotic energy loves to show up in places that you cannot control. Think about it. We get to choose our friends for the most part. And with family, we learn how to adapt even with the ones that we don't get along with. But at work, in social events, around manipulative people, that's where chaos really sneaks in. And it's different from everyday stress. Bills, deadlines, errands. Girl, that's just regular everyday stuff. But chaotic energy, I don't subject myself to that on the daily. So when it hits hard. It drains faster because my spirit really isn't used to carrying that weight. And that's why I live by this one rule, baby. Observe, but please do not absorb. I'm going to run that back. I want you to observe, but don't absorb. Watch the storm, but please don't let it get into your body. And I'll be real. I have carried other people's chaos before: relationships, coworkers, even family. Their storm lived in me until I realized what the hell was happening. And that's why your circle matters. We talked about it in Flake Happens. If your people aren't bringing you peace, they're literally draining you. And I want you to know that I refuse to pay that price anymore, and you should refuse it too. As always, knowing what to do is not the hard part, but protecting yourself is usually the real work. Because as I stated before, chaos is very sneaky. And let me just state right here and right now that nobody is perfect, because even now, I'm still learning. Something that my dad always told me kind of keeps me really grounded in these moments. People's faces may change, but their personalities don't. And that's because people have patterns. And if you've seen that MO before, then you can recognize it again. And if you do miss it and get wrapped up in somebody else's storm, I personally give myself grace, bow out gracefully, distance myself, and reset my boundaries. Spiritually, something that I like to use to really cleanse myself from the day or from chaotic energy that I may bump into is water. Water is really kind of like my armor. Every night, even if I've already showered that morning or that evening or 37 times that day, I'm going to end my day in the water. I'm going to tell myself while I'm washing myself that I'm washing away the bullshit. It is going down the drain. I visualize it. And this little ritual really just helps me clear my spirit. Herbs help too, but that's not everybody's ministry. So a shower and speaking kindly to yourself and visualizing and grounding yourself can be a good reset. Here's how I know personally that chaos is creeping in. My spirit feels very, very irritated. I need to step outside. I need to take a breath of fresh air. I need to get a little sun, touch some grass, as the kids say, and ground myself before somebody else's storm pulls me in. And let me just clear something up very, very quickly about boundaries. I want to make it clear that it's not about controlling other people. Boundaries are strictly about protecting you. So it's not about telling them how to act. It's about telling yourself what you will and will not allow. That's where the power lies. And spiritually, it's really the same. Saying no with words is one thing, but saying no with your energy, that's deeper. Sometimes you're fighting a spirit that doesn't even know they're chaotic, doesn't even know what they're carrying. And that's why I turn inward. I'm going to decide what I'm going to accept, what I won't accept, and I'll adapt and move accordingly from there. Because I've also learned that other people's urgency and emergency is not necessarily mine. Just because someone is anxious doesn't mean that I need to be. I can stay cool, calm, collected, and still handle my business. So, if you're wondering how to start, I got 3 simple things for you. The first thing is learn how to clock it. Notice when the chaos enters. Remove yourself from it, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever you need to do. And thirdly, please set your boundary. Not for them, but for you. That is how you keep chaos from living rent-free in your spirit. So let's pull it together with a chaos toolkit, I guess is what I'm going to call it. Because spotting the chaos is one thing, but moving with it and knowing how to navigate around it, that's honestly the real flex. So I came up with 5 things that can kind of help you navigate this. And the first thing is to check your body first. Usually your body will tell you before your brain does. And I need you to understand that sometimes that can show up as heat in your chest, nervousness in your stomach, or even just mental fog. So pay attention to how your body reacts because it will never lie to you. Number 2, create space. You don't always have to make a dramatic exit. Sometimes it's just stepping outside for fresh air, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb, or even sitting in silence, taking some deep breaths, and letting the energy clear. Distance can also be medicine. Number 3, protect your rituals. For me, that's my nighttime shower, where I literally tell myself I am washing off the day and it's going down the drain. For you, it might be journaling, prayer, music, or even meditation. But girl, whatever it is, you have to treat that like a what? Non-negotiable. Number 4, flip the script on boundaries. Remember what we said earlier. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They're about protecting you. So when you reframe it that way, boundaries feel less like a punishment and more like self-preservation. Number 5, please don't borrow other people's chaos. Don't become a member of their chaos club. Somebody else's urgency does not automatically make it your emergency or urgency. Let them spin out, crash out, whatever they want to do. You're not responsible for their coping mechanisms, and you're not responsible for their chaos or grounding them when they're in their chaos. You can stay grounded and decide whether it's worth your spoons. And let me give you a little hint, girl. 9 times out of, you know what? About 9.5 times out of 10, it's usually not worth it. And here's the truth. Protecting yourself from chaos is not about being cold and nasty. It's not about isolating yourself, but it is about recognizing that your energy is valuable and that your spoons are valuable. You don't owe your spoons to every storm that walks into the room. When you move like that, when you take your peace seriously, chaos completely loses its power. And this next line is definitely a shameless plug for you guys to go listen to episode 8, Protect Your Pour. But when you do these things, that's how you can keep yourself living in the overflow instead of letting somebody drain you dry. And that, my loves, is the end of Spoon Space Season 2. Thank you so much again for sharing these laughs with me, these lessons with me, all this raw truth and vulnerability. I really appreciate you guys holding the space for me as I hold the space for you. But I have a little bit of truth to tell you just before we go. I don't just want you to be a part of this space. I need you to be a part of this space. As much as I love sharing my own journey, and honestly, I could talk about myself for quite some time, Spoon Space was never meant to be just about me. So I want your voices, your stories, your questions, and all of your advice, because education and insight grows when we do it together. So send me an email at spoonspaceconnect@gmail.com or DM me on IG at the Spoon Space. Tell me what you want season 3 to look like, what stories that you want to be told, and what questions you just absolutely need answered. But in the meantime, go back, re-listen, use these tools during the break, and carry them into your daily life, because Spoon Space is a practice, not just a podcast. And as always, don't forget to save a scoop for yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty spoon. I'm Sunny D, RNBSN. And baby, this has been a full season 2 of Spoon Space. I cannot wait to see you in season 3.